Back at you with another episode. You did. It's official, like a referee with a whistle. So like and share this episode. It's going down. Countdown to VCon. 14 days. Man, I ain't going out there. Shit. I ain't going nowhere. You know. Lately I've been getting some weird emails lately. I'm telling you, man. You know, I don't know if the time. Maybe it's the season, or maybe it's because it's summertime. I don't know. But I'm getting some weird, you know, emails lately. Phone calls too. Well, I don't answer every phone call, of course not. But yeah, you know, yeah. But yeah, you know, so like I got I get questions all the time. Some of them I respond to, some of them I don't, because it's like it's usually the same type of questions for the most part. People have problems with their relationships. A lot of times, you have a lot of dudes, men and women. They they spend time with people that really ain't rocking with them like that. That really ain't fucking with them like that. They want the person they want don't want them. That's a waste of time. You spending time around with somebody that really ain't fucking with you like that. I never I never looked at it like that. I always spend time with people that fucking with me. Obviously, I fuck with those that fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? That's how I always looked at it. And I'm a type of guy that I always went against the grain anyway. I never bought into societal norms, and I don't take what I can get and all that bullshit, all that lackluster bullshit. I've been going against the grain all my life. I go against the status quo, all that shit. Why? Because it doesn't work for me. It don't work. It ain't never worked. Hold on, I'm turning the lights on. That shit ain't never worked. The status quo has never worked for us. And I gotta move my phone. The status quo. Hold up. The status quo has never worked for us. Never have, never will. I was doing some research on my family today. My grandfathers, great grandfathers, and great 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 grandfathers. I realized that my great great grandfather on my dad's side was born in 1854 in Georgetown, South Carolina. Think about that. He was born in 1854 in Georgetown, South Carolina, my great great grandfather. And I realized Because, you know, I didn't know much. I don't know much. I don't know anything about my great-great-grandfather. Now, I knew something about my grandfather, and but I didn't know much about my great-grandfather on my dad's side. But my grandfather, he was a player. You know what I'm talking about? Him and his boys. I got pictures of my grandfather. He was a player on my dad's side. He was a player, man. You know what I'm talking about? You know, him and his four of them dudes had businesses and all type of shit. But unfortunately, the shit got stolen because, you know, this is during slavery and Jim Crow time in South Carolina. And they were successful. And then back, you know, shit was segregated and all that shit. They were always successful in doing whatever they wanted to do. But they couldn't hold it. They got robbed and killed. Most of the guys, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? So I realized that in our family, we were always successful in doing things, especially when we were by ourselves, when we were not a part of doing anything that follows the status quo. And it took me some time to realize this over the years, even with myself. Because, see, when I was in my 20s, my late 20s, I would say, I realized, man, nobody's coming to save me, man. Nobody's coming to save me at the time. I'm like trying to figure this shit out. You know, I got all kind of wild, crazy shit going on. My money's funny. I mean, at one point, man, and maybe you've been in this situation before. At one point, and smash the like button. Smash the like button. Share the video. At one point, man, I had no clue when the next dollar was gonna come. For real, I had no clue when the next dollar was going to come. I've had situations like that where all I got is a car and my clothes in the back, in the trunk. So I had a brand new, what? At the time, Honda Civic at the time. And I had all my clothes was in the back, in the trunk. I did not know when my next dollar was going to come. I had no job, none of that shit. And I had no gas. I had no more gas. So I'm like, I'm sitting there in the parking lot, some damn apartments that I went to see some girl at the time. And I'm like, it's getting dark. Like right about this time right now, it's getting dark, right? So I'm sitting there like, where the fuck am I going to stay tonight? I'm like, yo, where the fuck I'm gonna go? I don't got no money for a hotel. I haven't called anybody that I knew to see if I could chill with them for the night, because I'm at this broad house. I'm thinking I just assumed she was gonna let me stay with her. But nah, she's like, yo, you got to go. So I'm like, yo, I'm fucked up out here, man. What the fuck am I gonna do? I'm like, shit. This is what it came down to. I've been to the top of the mountain, so to speak, at one point, at least in my mind. And now I'm at the bottom. I'm at rock bottom, yo. I'm like, fuck. How the fuck I'm gonna get out of this shit? I'm fucked up. I don't got nobody really to turn to. That can help me anyway. So I sat in that parking lot, man, for like 30 minutes. And I'm just scrolling through my cell phone at the time. And I'm just going through every person that I knew. Next, 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 next. And I had one person I could call that she was single. It wouldn't be no burden. She ain't got no kids. You know what I'm saying? I know she, you know, it wouldn't be a problem. You know, I called her. I told her what was going on. She was like, oh, you can come on over. You can stay on the couch. And boy, let me tell you something. When she told me I could stay on the couch, do you know how that made me feel? For real, that I'm basically homeless at the time. All I had is a car with no money, no gas. Matter of fact, check this out. I was driving my car because she stayed way on the other side of town at the time. So I'm thinking, am I gonna make it to her house? I might not have enough gas. I'm like, shit, I'm fucked. But I'm driving, my car started coughing. This motherfucker's almost out of gas. I'm like, oh shit. Oh man, am I gonna make it? I got like 3 minutes. I got less than 5 minutes left to get to her house. Am I gonna make it to her house? Man, when I got to the parking lot where she live at, the fucking car cut off. I ran out of gas in her parking lot. But I made it. Man, I was so happy. I made it. And I told, when I got to her apartment, I told her what happened and everything. Because she asked what happened. She said, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think about it. I was on the top of the mountain, so to speak, at the time. You know? And shit, when it rains, it pours. You know? And I'm like, if I ever get out of this situation, this will never happen to me again. And it never happened again. And that shit, I was like, I was 26 years old when that shit happened to me. And I realized that over time, that's not like a unique situation. There's other guys that go through that shit too at an early age. And the reason why so many guys struggle when they leave the house, we don't have no structure. We're just winging it or just trying some shit. Things that haven't been proven to work. That's the problem. If you don't have no structure, it's gonna be a lot of trial and error. That's the problem with a lot of young people. And I went through the same shit. It's trial and error. You trying to figure out shit, and you're talking to the wrong people. If you're trying to get some type of advice or call them for something, they don't know either. Not only are they giving you bad advice, they're giving you advice, the shit that they never even tried. They don't even know if it works either. But they're telling you to do something Cause some friend they know said it. They saw it in a magazine or saw it on TV or some shit like that. That's bad advice, man. Man, I would never give nobody no advice or tell anybody to do something if I haven't done it yet, man. That's fucked up, man. I would never do no shit like that. But it happens all the time. The blind lead the blind all the time, man. So a lot of the shit that I'm doing or went through, man, I had to figure that shit out on my own, man. There wasn't nobody telling me shit. There wasn't no good advice when I was in my 20s. Most of that shit fell flat, failed, until I started trusting myself and started doing shit, testing out shit on my own. And that's how I got out of that slump. That's how I got out of the hole. That's how that shit worked. But if I would have kept listening to everybody else, man, I would have been kept failing. I started listening to people that were actually had some type of success in anything. I didn't give a fuck what it was, man. At the time, I'm like, look, I just want to know, give me something that worked, that's been proven to work. I don't care if you door-to-door salesman. I don't care what it is, man. This is before the internet. I just need something that's been proven to work. I wasn't even asking for much at the time. Not at all, man. But it took me about 5 years to get out of that slump. You know? And I always said I had a relationship problem. That's what the problem was. Because when you get in situations like that, and if you can pick up the phone and call somebody, it won't be so bad. Because if you can pick up the phone and call somebody, and that person can help you out, it won't be so bad. But if nobody can help you out of all the numbers you got in your Rolodex, you got a relationship problem. Your friends, your associates are basically useless if that's the case. Sometimes we need a new environment of people. Sometimes we need to expand sometimes, you know? I mean, I'd rather hang around nobody than to hang around people that are just another jag, just another guy, just another gal. You know what I'm saying? Especially as you get older. When you get older, you're going to realize that you can't really afford to be around anybody that really ain't about shit as you get older. And nobody told me this. But you're going to get to, if you live long enough, you're going to get to a point where, first off, your time is limited. You really don't really have time to be hanging around anybody that's on some bullshit. You don't have time. You don't have the luxury for that shit as you get older. Cause it's just like life is short. The people you've known since high school or you grew up with, some of them gonna pass away. And it's like if you have kids, you got to spend time with your kids. If you got a wife or your husband or whatever, you just don't got time for no bullshit. You don't really have time to be hanging around anybody that's on some bullshit. So anybody that can't push your life forward or push their life forward, or I should say, Anybody that can impact your life or you impact their life in some type of way, you can't really afford to be around them like that. You can't really, like, we're not in the 20s no more when we just hanging out. Nah, man. Them days is over. You know, once you get older, there's no time to just hang out. You know, nah, I don't do that shit no more, man. Hang out and do what? What the fuck, we hang out at home, okay? But hang out with a bunch of guys and a crew of guys at the bar. Go to the Nah, man. It's no. That shit is dead. That I killed all that shit. Uh, when I was about when I turned 40, I pretty much killed all that shit. I'm not picking up. I'm not picking up my buddies and going to the club and none of that shit. No, man, that shit over, bro. Nah, it's time to upgrade. It's time to upgrade yourself at some point. You can't keep. You can, but you run yourself in the graveyard. You can't keep partying like you used to do when you was in the 20s and 30s. Once you hit 40s and 50s, you'll run yourself in the graveyard doing that shit. Like going out 2-3 times a week. Nah, man, that shit over, bro. You fucking run yourself in the graveyard doing that shit. Getting high and drinking all the time. Nah, man. I pretty much let that shit go. Do I still meet people like I used to? Yeah, I meet people all the time, man. I ain't gonna ever stop meeting new people. But I ain't hanging out all the time. You know what I'm saying? I ain't hanging out all the time though. I mean, if I make time to see somebody, you best believe it's gonna be for a good reason. I ain't doing this shit for fun. I'm not meeting you just for fun. You know what I'm saying? It ain't the way it used to be. I'm more practical, now than I was when I was in the 20s. In the 20s, man, it's a lot of people, they hang out with anybody. They don't care what happens. Go anywhere. It don't, nah, man. Time is limited as you get older. You have more time behind you than in front of you. So shit, you got to make the best of your time as you get older. And I realized that the relationship you have dictates, your whole existence, just living. Really. I mean, the better relationship you have with people, the better your life is going to be. And we've seen this go the other way. The worse relationship you have, your life can become real bad real fast. You might go from paradise to fucking nightmare overnight sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but it just depends on the people you have around you. That's why I always use this analogy when it comes to sports. There's no bad teams. This is bad leadership. There's no bad teams. So let's talk about football for a second. There's no bad football teams. It's just bad leadership. That's all. There's no bad teams. There's no bad players. Not really. It's just bad leadership. That's all it is. You can have the worst player that you think of on a team, but if that team gets a new coach that's a good leader, everything will be fine. There won't be no problem when the new regime comes in there. You know what I'm saying? And we've seen there's countless examples of this when it comes to the football. There's a lot of examples of this. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said there's no bad team. It's just bad leadership. And when it comes to your family, your crew, however you roll, if you're a bad leader, well, your family is going to show within your family. If you're a bad leader, it's going to show within your crew of people you roll with. It's going to show within your relationships you have with women if you're a bad leader. That's just what it is. There's no way around it. It's going to show at some point. If you're a bad leader, it's going to show. It has to. You can't run from it. You can't hide it with money. Nah, that's just what it is. You can't run from it. You can't hide from it. You are who you are. You know? That's why you see some guys on their job or their profession, they're great. But when they go home, their family's horrible because they're not good leaders. On the job, you can put other people in charge that are good leaders. You can kind of hide and, on the job. But when you're at home, you can't hire nobody to be a father or be a husband at home to your wife and kids. That's on you. Yeah, you can get other people to play a role at home. Maybe you want somebody to bang your wife or whatever, or maybe you want a nanny to take care of the household and get a chef. Yeah, but it ain't but so much other people can do when it comes to your family. You can't. Your wife is still your wife at home, regardless if y'all have an open relationship or whatever y'all got going on. You know what I'm saying? You still have to be present. That's just what it is. So there's no way around that. Doesn't matter how much money you have. You still have to be a husband to your wife. You still have to be present in your kid's life. That's just what it is. I realize that a lot of this stuff is not really being taught like it should be. Some of the stuff that I've been talking about in this video, some guys never get this. They have no clue how this shit works. No one ever taught them. No one ever talked to them about it. It's like a lot of guys are just winging it out here. They're just trying to figure it out from other guys that's trying to figure it out too. And then they'll try to, if they meet a woman, they'll just do what the woman says. But the problem with that, a woman ain't a man. A woman don't know what leadership looks like. She ain't, what the hell do a woman know about leadership, man? Come on, man. A woman don't know nothing about no leadership. You know what leadership to a woman is? Trophies, accomplishments, plaques, awards. That's what leadership to a woman is. Accomplishments, basically. That's what leadership means to a woman. That's like speaking on the stage. Oh, she's a good leader. That ain't got nothing to do with no leadership, man. That ain't got nothing to do with no leadership, man. What happens when you don't feel like doing something, but you do it anyway? That's signs of good leadership, man. When you don't feel like getting up. When you don't feel like doing it. When the door fly open and someone's coming through that door with a gun trying to kill you. And you got to respond. That's what real leadership looks like, man, when it's ugly outside, man. Woman don't know nothing about that shit, man. What the hell a woman gonna tell you as a man about leadership, man? That shit, it's a fantasy world, man, that a lot of guys experience today. It's a fantasy, man. You know, and I mean, how do there's guys out here today ain't never been in a fight, ain't never threw a punch, ain't never been punched. How the hell you walk through a world in the United States of America and never had a scuffle, never threw a punch, a guy never even pushed you? How the hell you? How does that even happen? I mean, come on, man. How do you walk around and you never had a guy challenge you, or you never challenged another guy ever? And you what? 40 years old? You made it to 40 years old and never had a fight, never had a scuffle, never threw a punch, or never been punched? Man, how'd you do that? Man, that's a story within itself. I would like to interview somebody. Tell me how'd you do that, bro. Maybe it's just me. I don't know, man. When I grew up, I didn't know no guy that was like that. I didn't know no guy that never throw at least a punch. I didn't know no guy like that, man. You know, never pushed a guy, never been pushed, never had an argument with a guy. How the hell you avoid that shit? I don't know, man. That's some weird shit. I would like to interview somebody, talk to somebody. Tell me how you avoided all violence or signs of violence or confrontation. But I want to know. You're a master. You're an expert at avoiding all confrontation and violence in the United States of America. Man, how'd you do that? Boy, that's incredible. You know. So a lot of guys just listen to what the woman say. And see, here's the thing. Every woman thinks they're a good woman. Every woman thinks they're a good woman until proven otherwise. See, today you have a lot of women, the Megan Thee Stallion types, the what's that other girl? Sexy Red. Women don't separate themselves from them today. Women put all the women in the same basket today. Sexy Reds and them type, they get celebrated today. When my mom generation, they would shame them bitches. It'd make them feel bad about being slutty. But today, no, they get rewarded. They on television. They get deals. They make a lot of money. Meanwhile, the women that take care of their business, they are not on TV at all. So the whole game is flip-flop. And then you have a lot of the younger girls, you know, their parents raised them to basically lie to them, tell them how great they are and all that shit. And I'm like, how do you know how great they are? They ain't done shit. Just look good. That's all. I'm like, they haven't done shit. How do you know they're great? How do you know how good you are, how great you are with no proof? So you have a lot of parents that they lie to their kids today. And then when they go out into the world, and people aren't responding in the way they deem respectful, Now it's a problem because you got people like me. I'm running past these motherfuckers, and then they be looking like, hey, wait a minute, man, how the hell this motherfucker is living better than me, uh, much more productive than me. This shit ain't adding up based on how I was raised, and that's because your parents lied to you. Your parents said you really had to do shit. Your parents told you don't really have to compete. Your parents told you that everybody's supposed to roll out the red carpet for you because you're a certain race or nationality. I don't give a damn about none of that shit. I don't give a damn about your nationality or if you're white. I don't give a damn. So a lot of time that's where that hate comes from. It's not. It goes deeper than just you just being successful or you being on television or playing sports or having some type of business, or it goes much deeper than what's on the surface. It's what's below the surface that rubs a lot of people the wrong way, because a lot of parents have lied to their kids. It's like you have a lot of men and women that's like that, and you kind of know that some of the kids grew up, the parents did everything for them. They grow up, they ain't had to do shit, and when they get in relationships with guys and girls, they have this entitlement mentality, like somebody owed them something. Bitch, I don't owe you nothing. You crazy? Well, you act like I'm what the hell? And they be wanting you to do some shit that even they wouldn't even do. I'm like, what kind of shit I'm not doing that shit. You wouldn't even do that shit. And they don't even deserve it in most cases. So a lot of times that comes from their parents. The parents got them all fucked up. And they want to act like I'm fucked up. And now I'm the problem because of what your parents mismanage you. So now I'm the problem now. No, hell no. No, No, I ain't supposed to be your savior. I ain't, no, no. And especially when a lot of these girls get older. When these women hit 40s and start falling apart, get big, fat, and all that shit. And all of a sudden, it's hard for them to be nice. See, it's hard to be nice when you don't like what you see when you look in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to be nice when you don't like what you see when you look in the mirror. It's hard for some women to look in that mirror and be like, oh, God. And now you got to be nice to the guy that you got married to or live with. Oh, it's hard. Especially if he's still keeping himself up as older guy. That's where a lot of the jealousy and envy comes from. It's just like, yeah, I'm a old big back. I'm big like a hippopotamus, and he ain't fat. You know what I'm saying? He's still getting the looks, and I ain't. Hey, girl, hey, I don't know what to tell you. Shit, hey, man, you know what I'm talking about? Shit, it's in the DNA, baby. You ain't got it. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, blame it on Mother Nature. Blame it on God, not me. You know what I'm talking about? So, it's that type of shit. Especially a lot of these non melanated women. They ain't got the genes, baby. Hey, blame it on the game, not me. You know what I'm saying? Don't shoot the messenger. You know what I'm talking about? It ain't me. Don't blame it on me. Blame it on Mother Nature. Blame it on God. And you ain't got the DNA, baby. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, that's how it is. Some of these older women, they start shriveling up like a road map. You know what I'm saying? It's like the older they get, especially the white women, the older they get, the more racist they get. They can't help it. They can't be nice no more. Because it's hard to be nice for a lot of these people when they don't like what they see when they look in the mirror. They hate themselves. And see, the thing is, a lot of these women, they don't have no personality. They never had no personality. They're not fun to be around. They never been fun to be around. But what they did when they were younger, they focused more on how they look. They manipulated the guys, based on their looks. They never had a personality. And as they got older, they started to become mad and bitter. So now, you know, she really hates herself and hates the guy she's with now because she's insecure. Don't like what she see when she look in the mirror. So now the relationship goes to hell. Yeah, they might live together, but that relationship gonna be dead as a doorknob. There ain't nothing gonna be going on, you know. And this is why a lot of relationships end up being open because they ain't got nothing going on. Hell, shit, why not let it be open? They're already old in the 50s and 60s. Shit, let's just keep it going until one of us, you know, die or some shit. You know, it's kind of like you see a lot of these athletes get married to the white women. Well, when these white women start getting older, you don't see a lot of these brothers with them old white women like that. Ain't a lot. They usually get a divorce. Shit. Because what happens is a lot of these white women never plan on being with the dude in the first place for no 20, 30, 40 years until they die. She never even planned it that way, you know. But it's kind of like the white women look at it like she can't be nice to the black dude no more. Cause it's like she been told all her life that she's supposed to be in charge. She ain't supposed to listen to no black man, right? And that programming is still there. Now it ain't went nowhere. It's still there. You know what I'm saying? They pick it up through osmosis, growing up. And the parents might have said little shit here and there, stay away from the blacks, and whatever. You know, we know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? But that programming is still there. And plus, when a white woman gets married to one of us, she becomes the black sheep of the family, of the community. White people know how this shit works. This is not like a major breakthrough here. You know, it's just people don't talk about it. And, you know, that's why a lot of white women prefer for the black dude to have money because she ain't gonna get no more of them hookups from the white community. It's over. You know what I'm saying? So when she's young, y'all be just fine. More than likely, you know. But as she get older, the more racist she becomes. The more mad and bitter, and we call them Karens. Some people call them Karens. You know what I'm saying? You see a lot of these women on the internet, you know, all upset, mad, and disrespectful, telling on people in the neighborhood and all kind of shit. You know, they were yelling and screaming on camera, and you know, them Karen. These are the women that got divorced or are on the way out to getting a divorce. You know, and see, you can't stay with no woman that's like that. You can't live with a woman that's like that, because she becomes combative now. You know, the shit she used to do when y'all got married, she ain't doing none of that shit no more. You know, it's like y'all roommates now. And all because it all stemmed from her looks, her being insecure. That's what it all stemmed from. Because she got older, it's like, you know, She just don't. She she don't got the confidence no more. She's bored, and you probably don't look at her the same no more. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like she's just an old bitter broad now. So it's kind of like you reach a point. So that's why when white women come in, all of a sudden she's like, oh, I want a divorce now because the kids are grown or on their way out, going to college or moving out or doing their own thing, or maybe the kids got their own family by now. So now there's no purpose for y'all really being together no more. Because while the kids were there, that's where most of the time was being spent, right? But now that the kids are gone, well, shit, y'all can go y'all separate ways, and live life happily ever after, doing whatever else. She would go hang out with her old bitter ass girlfriends, because 9 times out of 10, she got some bitter girlfriends that's divorced too. That was married to some black dude too, or maybe they were married to some white man and got divorced. So 9 times out of 10, the women she's hanging with are in the same situation she in. Old, bitter, and divorced. And they all wrinkled up looking like a road map. You know what I'm saying? And nobody really want to fuck with them. The white dudes definitely don't want to fuck with them. You know what I'm saying? Usually they end up fucking, we usually end up fucking with them. You know, even if it's for one night. Or they'll go to some vacation resort and get banged out every once in a while, some shit like that. We know, we hear the stories. So that's what usually happens with a lot of them older white women, and non-melanated women, I would say. You know, but you can't tell them that they're not a good woman. You know, and they don't have to have no proof. This is how they feel. It's like, I'm like, hey, you can't. And if you ask them questions, it's like you talking to a fucking wall. Because if you say, hey, did anyone say you were a good woman lately? They're like, well, no. Well, how do you know? Well, that's just how I feel. And they'll start telling you shit that they accomplished, basically. Oh, I got 2 kids. I raised them. And I got my job. And I'm a pretty good employee. You know, they're saying all the bullshit that ain't got nothing to do. Nobody cares about none of that shit. And you can't, when she's dead and gone, she can't take none of that shit to the graveyard with her. So all the shit she's talking about, it's irrelevant. It don't matter. Nobody cares about it. It ain't gonna make a big difference to nobody. It's just an ego boost for her. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say, when it comes to leadership, for a woman, it's just accomplishments. That's all it is. It ain't got nothing to do with putting hands on nobody or keeping the family safe, or when the door fly open, you got to take care of protect you. It ain't got nothing to do. Leadership ain't got nothing to do with that in regards to a woman. It just, when it comes to women, leadership means accomplishments. Oh, I got my plaque. I got an award. I got my diploma. You know, I got my degree. That's leadership to a woman. That's just, that ain't no fucking leadership, man. Yeah, but that's what they think, because it's like, it's ego driven, you know. And that's why a lot of these women have to get educated, because ain't no man gonna take care of their ass with that mindset, and they know it, you know. And a lot of parents that are honest with their daughters, they'll say, hey, you got to go to college. Yeah, you got to go to college, because ain't no man gonna be around no woman that's like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's some women out here, men and women, that are honest with their kids, and they see it early. Once they grown up, they might hit 18, 19, and the parents might say, Hey, you need to go to college. I think you do well. You go to college. Yeah, and they're not telling them to go to college for shits and giggles. They're telling them to go to college because they know she ain't gonna get chose. That's what it is. That's what it comes down to it. And they might have 2 or 3 daughters, and 2 of them might not go to college, but the one of them they'll say you need to go to college because she ain't gonna get chose. And the other 2 did get chose. They didn't go to college, and they're being taken care of, and they have families, and they don't have no fucking problem. They don't complain at all. The only women I know that complain are the ones that don't like themselves, that hate themselves, that don't like what they see when they look in the mirror. These are the women that are insecure and they complain all the time. The women that I know personally, and I know a bunch of them all over the world, that I know personally that, they love themselves, they fun to be around, nice to talk to, nice to look at. They don't be complaining about a whole lot of anything. Even if something happens or somebody does something that's very negative and disrespectful, they still take the high road most of the time. They still take the high road. They'd be like, yeah, that's kind of messed up. He said that. Or maybe he was going through something or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because they're in a good place mentally, physically, spiritually. That's why. And they like what they see when they look in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? A woman that don't like what she see when they look in the mirror, she gonna be mad and bitter. And she might got some daddy issues. Her dad forget to give her a hug when he was growing up and all type of bullshit. You know. And if you get involved with a woman like that, she gonna try to make it seem like something wrong with you. But in reality, something's wrong with her. She's big like a hippopotamus, and she giving you a hard time. And there's nothing that can really come out of that relationship positive. It's gonna go. It's gonna go to hell at some point. Whether you want it, whether you like it or not, I want it to go. It doesn't matter which way you want it to go. It's going to hell. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. You can try all you want. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. And somebody has to change. It's either you or her. So yeah, share this video. That's pretty much all I had to say, man. Man, it's quiet out here. I can hear the crickets. And it's quiet out here, man. I'm in the woods, man. But I don't. It doesn't get that quiet until I can hear the crickets outside. It's quiet out here. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, what I'm saying? It's like at the end of the day, man, no one's coming to save you. There's people out here the good news is there's people out here that's willing to help you, point you in the right direction. But at the end of the day, you can sit back and not do anything all you want. Jesus Christ ain't coming to save you. Allah ain't coming to save you. Ain't no pastor coming to save you. At some point, you're gonna have to make a move. You're gonna have to make a decision. In regards to how you want to live your life. Ain't no woman coming to save you either. I don't care how good the cooch is. She ain't coming to save you. No one's gonna live your life for you. No one's gonna live your life for you. I tell you, I guarantee that. Your mom, your dad ain't gonna live your life for you. And ain't no woman gonna live the life with you. Kids ain't gonna live the life for you. Only person that's gonna live your life is you. And that's it. So the decision that you make has to be based on you. And that's it. I don't sit around thinking about what nobody gonna say about me. I'm like, man, I don't give a damn what they say. Shit. Well, man, I don't want to lose my friends. Well, if they leave, I guess they weren't my friends in the first place. If that's the case, it's my life, And don't listen to a lot of these old people. Old people today ain't shit. Most old people today ain't shit, man. I'm telling you. Most old people today want you to just give up and throw in the towel. They want you to be all submissive and man, the hell with all that shit. Now that I learned a long time ago, most of the shit people say, it just didn't work out for me. And a lot of old people today are kind of clueless and disconnected from the younger people. They kind of out of touch today. And that disconnect kind of started like 15 years ago. I saw it. It's like it's one thing to not understand somebody, but when you're like clueless and kind of out of touch, that's another thing. So a lot of old people are kind of like, hey, they want to do their thing and live their life until they roll over and die, basically. And they don't want the young people to quote mess up their livelihood. That's a lot of young old people be on that type of shit. They be on that type of time. That's a very selfish way to be. A lot of old people would rather let their kids crash and burn while they you know live the rest of their life and doing whatever they feel like they want to do. So a lot of old people be on some bullshit. So when I say old people, I'm talking about like, let's see, 57 and up. I would say 57 and up. When I say old, that's older than me. Yeah, they be on some bullshit, man. Most of the time, you gotta watch them old bastards, men and women. You gotta watch them. They be on some bullshit. They might bait and switch on your ass too. You gotta be careful with a lot of old people. They're not down with no empowerment. They want things to stay the same. They don't want shit to change. They'd rather go to that job and kiss that ass. They don't got a problem doing that at all. You know. And they don't even got a problem with helping you out. If you happen to be their son or daughter, they don't got a problem with helping you out every once in a while. But they don't want to rock the boat. No, hell no. If you speak up, they might tell you to sit down somewhere. Yeah, they be on some bullshit, man. It's like, all of us have at least one relative that's a coward. We know who they are. Just stay away from them. And once they start talking some shit like, you should vote anyway, vote for nothing. I'm like, what the fuck? This motherfucker crazy as cat shit. Who the hell's gonna vote for nothing? What type of bullshit is that, man? What type of mindset is that? Old people, they be on that shit, man. It's like, do it anyway. Like, no, I don't roll like that. This ain't no something for nothing. No. And these people raise their kids like that. And their kids grow up with that same mindset. I can get something for nothing. No, the real world don't work like that. Nah. So hey, share the video, and don't forget to get my book. My book at SharpGameBook.com. That's SharpGameBook.com. And check out my Patreon, all that good stuff as well. You know what I'm saying? So that's about all I got, man. I'm about to roll out. You know what I'm saying? You know. So next time I'm out, peace and hair grease.